Hello and welcome to this ATRAX 2.0 Premier tutorial. In this guide we're going to go over gauge check-in and check-out. We have a couple customers that like to check gauges out to their employees and be able to provide a digital record of that transaction, and then they like to be able to see what gauges are available to be checked out and what ones are checked in. So we have built in a system to ATRAX 2.0 to accommodate this. If you log in as your Premier user, you would land on your home page like this. Across the top here we have a couple of tabs, and we now have one added for gauge check-in and check-out. So if you were to navigate over there, you would see a very simple workflow. And what this represents right here is 2 statuses and 2 actions. So the boxes here with the squared off corners and the numbers in them, those are statuses. So those are where your gauges are essentially. So up here means that they are in your possession. This is a gauge that can be checked out. And then you have events that would move gauges from status to status. So we see we have here a status of checked out. So when we run the checkout event, it will take a gauge from our availability pool and move it to the checked out pool. And now it can no longer be checked out, and you'll be able to see what gauges are in what status. Then once it's checked out, you would run a Premier check-in event, and that would move the gauge back from checked out back to being available. So that's essentially how the system works here. If I were to just click on this box right here, it will show me all of my gauges that are available. And it kind of brings you to a search, but you're going to just click select in order to see all of your gauges that are in a status of return to customer. So return to customer, when I say that is the gauges that are at your location. Gauges that are at your location are gauges that are not in process with us at ATI, so it means that you haven't sent them in for service, or we're not coming out to your location and calibrating them at this moment. Return to customer represents gauges that are available to be checked out. So this is going to show you your full list right here in case you just wanted to kind of see what was available. If you want to actually perform the action to check it out, you're going to click the Premier Checkout Event button. And it's going to come up with a window that is going to give you the availability to select a couple of things. So what you have here, what you're looking at is the screen is essentially broken into 2 panes. You have an upper pane and a lower pane. The lower pane is where you choose the equipment that you want to check out. The upper pane is going to just provide you a little bit of detail on who you're checking it out to, what kind of condition the gauge was in, etc. So the first thing that I like to do is actually select the equipment. You can fill this out first, but the first thing I like to do is select the equipment. So I know that I have a gauge of test 100. That's my ID. So if I just type that in, it'll add it here. And I could add as many gauges as I want, so you can run this event and check out 10, 20, 100 gauges at once if you have that need. Up here we're going to see the event is being performed by my Premier account. This will default to your Premier account name. You can change the checkout date if you want to, if you needed to backdate anything. That is modifiable. The checkout list should default to your employee list. I will show you how to update your actual employee list in another tutorial, but you have the ability to control the people that will be in this list when you click on it. So it would be a list of your employees, and then a condition, good, fair, new. So that would represent this. So I'm saying that I am checking out gauge test 100, which is a caliper, to Adam Churchill, and it is in good condition on 6/28 when it goes out. Down in the lower right, I'm going to click finish. And that gauge has now been moved to my checkout box. If I click on checkout, or what's checked out, there is test 100 right here. So it represents that it is in a status of checked out. So if I were to try to check that out again, it would not allow me to. If I did want to then check that gauge in, before I actually check it in, let me flip over to the equipment screen real fast. You can see here I'm on gauge, I'm on Mike's Lab, and I'm on gauge test 100. And I can see my tracking status up in the upper right hand corner here. So it is saying that this is in a status of checked out. So that is going to be a visual representation for you from the equipment level screen that you are also on a gauge that is checked out as well. You can run the events from here as well. So, we have the events buttons that you can press on the home screen. You can also run them from your equipment screen. In this drop-down list right here, we have a list of Premier events, and we have the Premier check-in and check-out events right here as well. So if I wanted to say check-in Gage test 100 now that I have it checked out, I'm going to run Premier check-in. Let me add Gage test 100 to the event, and we'll see as soon as I added that gauge, it found that it was checked out to Adam Churchill and that it was in a status of good condition when it went out. If it came back in a different condition, you have the ability to change that now. So if Adam broke it, you can change this to broken, and it will record that in the event as well. So I'm going to go ahead and click finish. This should check the gauge back in. We now see that we are on test 100. My tracking status has returned to customer, which is what it should be. That means that it is in your location. And now down here in the history of my gauge, I can see that I have a recorded event for the checkout and the check-in. If I needed to double click on these to see the detail of those events, I can go back and check those out anytime. So that is how the Premier check-in and check-out works. If you have any questions on this, please contact me at mike@atiquality.com with any questions, and I'll be happy to help you in any way I can. Thanks.